Okay, hey, so my name is Sappington. I am a resident of Oceanside, Oregon, and I am the featured artist at the Bay City Arts Center for the fall. And the virtual opening is September 4th, Friday. No one really knows what that's going to look like, but I've done many shows here at the Bay City Arts Center. They've been super supportive and been able to allow me to put up my work and display it for a month. And so we'll see what happens here, but we're trying something new. We're all falling in this together and trying to make something happen that's really never happened before. So I thought I would be the guinea pig on this and see if I can make something happen. Anyway, so my art, I've been painting for, I don't know, since, probably for the last 20, 30 years. I use a different approach. I use air and trowels and sticks and wires. And it's pretty unconventional, but it works for me. I'm an abstract expressionist. So everything is timed for me. I spend no more than probably 25 minutes on some of these pieces, mainly these. But this section here, being a coastal resident, I have started to go from the natural landscape that I live around, Oceanside. In particular, but Cape Ears, and so I've been using the same method with air and wires and trowels and going from some photographs that some friends have taken or of my own, and trying to do some sort of like my take on impressionism. So that's what you're seeing here, and I've really enjoyed it. So I've done about 20 pieces so far, and this is what I have left. So a lot of people have gravitated towards this style, and I think especially ones who are coastal and can resonate with what they see and see it through a different lens. These were all kind of started at the beginning of the COVID shutdown, and I was telling some friends of mine that I've seen and talked to some artists that for them COVID has either ignited their muse or it's shut it down. So they're either falling into a writer's block, or they're not doing anything at all, or they're just exploding. And I'm falling into that explosive phase where every day I paint regardless. It's one of those, I have to do this to move through this, especially in these times because it's challenging. And I was painting daily anyway, but it all took on kind of a different form. So you'll see a bunch of different styles within this show. I have about 36 pieces here, but a lot of movement. And I kind of started working with these flowers, I guess. This is more of a flower form, but this kind of started and it became this ripple effect, and I had about 30 of these, and this is what I have left. So a lot of movement. I think people gravitate towards that, and people gravitate towards expressionism and explosiveness, and they can feel that. So that's where I'm at. I think that's why transitioning into this phase for me has been really good, because I enjoy doing realism along with surrealism, abstract, impressionism. So it's all kind of falling into this really nice little realm, but that is what you get, I think, painting daily. So anyway, that's what we have on display here, and maybe later on we can take a walk around the room and you can see some more styles, and I can explain some of those things to you. Okay, so like I was saying, there are a bunch of different styles. Well, there's variations of styles within styles in this show. So I was telling a good friend of mine that I try to kind of break off from something that I'm doing if I'm falling kind of into a boredom phase, or if I'm falling into this like kind of stagnation of I'm getting tired of this. I can tell the audience is getting tired of this. I try to move into an area that feels good and totally different, and that's where this came into play. Now this is going to kind of go backdate. This is going to go a little bit, probably February of this year. I had an image of these like just triangular trees, and I've seen this somewhere else, but I don't know, maybe a dream or whatever. But I added lines just to bring it out a little bit, because I think that just the trees and this moon, or sun, whatever you want to call it, it'd have been boring. So if you add these lines, it brings up a little bit. It's almost like multiple horizons in some way. So I think that using just a trowel to make all my moves, and obviously Oceanside on this one, the coastal shot there, I wanted to create something that was minimalistic, but yet had power and was very subtle. kind of quiet, because a lot of my stuff isn't quiet and it's not subtle. So that's what this is all about. So very short-lived period, but it needed to be added to the show just for variation. Okay, so this short period, this phase right here was all an experimentation that kind of derived from me just using a trowel to paint the background, and then I would just drop. I do all my paintings flat, laying down. I have this giant Lazy Susan that I can rotate and turn around, so I don't have to move too much and move around in different directions. So I troweled the back here, and then I laid down my paint in the direction. And then so what happened was I started to, I think you can probably see it on these earlier pieces where I was a little more timid there than going this direction. But starting to use these lines in multiple colors, laying down about 3 different colors here, and then just like moving it with a small wire that I found a long time ago that I've continued to use, and I can't find any that quite match that size and diameter. So I use that constantly on everything anymore. So it's this almost like a magic wand, someone said. But so what happened was I was just experimenting with just texture and movement with that, and dragging these thick lines of paint out, and then they create like some sort of, somebody said it's like meat works, almost looks like a stinger on a bug. I don't know. It's whatever you want to think, whatever it is to you. I'm not quite sure. Okay, so when it comes to my choosing of colors, what I'm going to do that day, I usually look at kind of what I did the day before, and I try to do a variation. Either go a completely opposite direction than this, or I'll kind of stick with familiar, or throw something extra in there, or just simplify and use the same colors here. But for me, color is all about, I don't want to do the same thing every day, because kind of being a social media artist, you can kind of look at what you're doing and it almost creates a pattern. And that way for me, I do paint for myself, but I also paint for the audience in a way. Because I know that there are people always watching to see what I do, and they say that they really enjoy what I'm doing, and always look forward to what's coming next. So for me, I want to make sure that there is variation. It's just like a singer-songwriter. They're set. You don't want the same kind of song every time it's important. So you want to throw a little bit of color here. You want to do something a little bit different at least, or go the completely opposite direction. So that's how I choose colors. I just feel like I can see what I'm doing every day, whether it's laid out on the drying rack or not, find out where I'm going with that, and then choose that way. Or it's however I'm feeling, you know, I don't know. I might do 2 yellow paintings back to back with this great red. So it's all about a feeling.